So after she had a minute to calm down and settle herself a little, I said to my daughter, listen, honey, the goal of the rest of our week of vacation here now is that you have to get pulled out again. Hey, everybody, it's EdTheTrainer. And we'll talk about that next, coming up on this week's episode of Tips on Tuesday. So the very first day of our recent vacation at the beach, my daughter got caught in a little bit of a riptide, an undertow at the beach. And the lifeguard had to jump in and just help her get out of the surf a little bit, right? It's a little rough at high tide at that particular point. And so my daughter was a little scared, right? She was a little upset about having been caught and sat and cried a little bit. And I said to her, just as I mentioned, honey, the next thing I want to make sure that we do is understand by the time the week's out, I want you to have to be pulled in again. Now, I know for a lot of you, you're watching that saying, that's irresponsible parenting, Ed. Why are you telling the rest of us this? And see, here's the thing. I'm not really trying to put my daughter in harm's way. I'm really not trying to run a risk here. What I'm trying to communicate to my daughter is, you know what? You made a little mistake. Right? You had a little wipeout. You messed up a little bit, but that doesn't mean that you can't go back out in the ocean and develop your skills a little more. In fact, the theme for the entire week to all of my kids was the more wipeouts, the better. The more wipeouts, the better. Counterintuitive, right? We want them to be careful for sure. And we definitely don't want to waste the lifeguard's efforts and energy being irresponsible on our end. But the point of all of this is, just like in life, guys, we can't be afraid to go after the things that we want to go after. We can't be afraid to spread our wings a little bit. We can't be afraid to take the time to try to develop our skills, right? And if something doesn't go right the first time, we can't step back and be afraid to try again. So throughout the rest of the week, all of my kids continued to go in the surf and continued to come up several times crying because they'd been toppled by a big wave and spit salt water out and rubbed sand out of their noses. But the deal is they're learning their strengths. They're developing their skills. And we as adults, we need to continue the same type of thought. Right? We're going to get knocked down. We're going to need to brush off the dirt. We're going to need to step back up and have the courage to try again. But it always starts at those younger ages. But for some reason, we think that, when we get a little bit older and we have a little bit more to risk, that we should stop altogether in taking any risk whatsoever. Guys, it doesn't matter what age you are. Take a step, take a chance. Take a little risk. I mean, obviously, we've got to be somewhat responsible, depending on our circumstances. And don't do anything too risky or illegal or unreasonable. But guys, don't be afraid to try and try and try over and over and over again. The more wipeouts, the better. So that's the message this week, guys. Go out and make a mess. Worry about cleaning it up after you've made it. But let's try. Make a mess. Thanks for spending a couple of minutes with me today, everybody. I really, really, really appreciate your time. And if you've not subscribed to the channel already or liked the page, make sure you go ahead and do that now so you don't miss any upcoming episodes and that you see any of the news and events that we've got coming up this year. Hope you have a great week. And I'll see you soon.